Welcome to the Beer Den Podcast. Tonight we'll be drinking Lakefront Brewery's East Side Dark Lager.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Beer Den Podcast. My name is Ethan Hoopy.
And I'm Michael Aroe. Tonight we're drinking Lakefront Brewery's East Side Dark Lager. Lakefront, they were founded in 1987 up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. One of their little claim to fames, though, is they claim to be one of the main or only gluten-free and organic beer producers, which I think is pretty cool. But I don't think it's all of their beers. I think it's only certain ones. This one poured a nice brown color. It was like a nice medium brown.
Yeah. Are you talking about the head of it or just the overall color? The
overall body of it, overall color. The head on it wasn't too much on my pour, at least. But It looked like what little bit was there, it had a nice little like whitish brown head to it.
Which is kind of weird because like, I would say that this had a very good carbonation to it, but it didn't have a very good head to the pour, nor does it have very good lacing.
Yeah, no, it didn't really stick to the bottle at all. It just kind of, aroma-wise, very malty is what I got out of it. It almost had like a really light coffee, like not overpowering coffee, like not a strong coffee, but like coffee notes to it. Like a lightly roasted grain almost, but very malty overall. Yeah.
I definitely got notes of like raisins and like dark fruits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely a sweet smelling
beer. There was a sweet element to it.
Mouthfeel, I felt it was very smooth, not very astringent. You mentioned good carbonation as well.
Yeah, very good carbonation, almost like a pop.
Flavor-wise, it was a pretty sweet beer. You mentioned raisins. I got hints of that. Not really like a strong coffee flavor, but I think there was a subtle
there's
coffee
hints
there.
of it in there. I mean, it being a lager, you're going to have like those kind of dark chocolate and coffee flavors that are in there. This one is very light in those particular flavors.
So we base everything on 3 criteria. We have quality out of 50 points, value out of 25, and design out of 25. I ended up scoring this a 37 on quality. I felt it was a pretty good beer overall. The aroma, I tend to grade higher on the maltier side of things, but I mean a really good IPA that's I think not overly hopped up can also score pretty well, but I just like the sweet smell of the malts. Yeah, and I thought this had really good flavor to back up that smell.
I totally agree with you. I ended up giving a 34. I wish they had a bit more. I wish it had a bit more caramely flavors in it, but other than that, like it was a very smooth beer, not drying. Definitely something I could see drinking again.
Mm-hmm. I thought something that was kind of interesting. You ever have like certain smells that you smell and they just bring back like old memories?
Yeah. This
beer kind of did that because it's a lager and it has a very lagery smell as well. Yeah. And so it just kind of took me back to, younger drinking age and just good times with friends drinking. And yeah, I don't know. This beer just kind of sparked that memory for me. So I kind of liked it.
The nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. Value wise, this came in at $9.99 for a 6-pack. Because of that and my score and quality, I ended up giving it a 20, and I thought that was fair.
Yeah, no, it's very competitively priced, and for being such a smooth beer, something that is, I think it's a kind of unique beer. I mean, it is just a lager, but like it's a bit more of a sweeter lager than what I think sometimes you'll find. I ended up giving it a 19. So, just 1 point behind you. And yeah, I think it deserves that high of score.
Design-wise, I scored this at an 18. Some of the things I did like about it, I like the coloring on the label, and it has the east side text is actually kind of like brick walls. So it has like a different name, not just saying that it's a dark lager. There's not an alcohol content on it, which is a little disappointing. We definitely like to see that. It does have a call to their website, which is always a plus for me. And it does have the neck label on it, but it doesn't have any like unique design or any stamping in the bottle.
Yeah, I was actually surprised just how plain of a bottle and design in general it had. It doesn't have some of the most basic things that I feel like we see on bottles pretty regularly. It doesn't have a description. It doesn't even have the APV on it. But then it's almost odd because it has something that we don't usually see, which is a area specifically for the best buy date.
Right. Usually it's stamped somewhere random on the bottle.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
very
afterthought.
difficult to see. And yeah, and with this one, I do commend them for actually providing a blank space for them to stamp the best buy date. That way it's clear to us, like, how fresh the beer is, or at least like
relative
when we need
expire.
to be drinking it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a lot of those like basic things that I feel like are so important to craft brewing. And, especially as somebody who's looking for craft brews, not knowing what the APV is, not having some sort of a description to, at least help guide me to what it should be like. And
right. Yeah, the description was big for me, but I think even bigger was the alcohol content missing. Something that we didn't really even catch when we picked up the bottles. But yeah, because we realize that it's hit or miss if we're going to have a description or not. Alcohol content is usually always there though, so it's surprising when it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really because of those two things in particular is why I ended up giving it a 12 for design. I think just not having some of those most basic aspects of it, for me, was kind of unredeemable. There's other nice things about the design. Like, I like the fact that they have a nice name for it. The overall, like, art part of it is pretty good, but just not having those kind of, like, basic things are pretty killers for me.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair, especially that alcohol content, because that could have easily been like 2 more points for it, which would have gave it a little bit better running against the other beers that we've recorded.
Yeah, for sure.
So overall, that's a 65 for you, Ethan, a 75 for myself. Altogether, that's a 70 out of 100 for Lakefront Brewing's East Side Dark Lager.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to another Beer Den review.
Don't forget to follow us on social media, links down in the description.
Subscribe, like, and share, and if there are any beers you would like us to try out, leave them in the comments below.
We'll see you on the next episode of the Beer Den Podcast.